And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, today we're taking a look at Math Fluxx. Now I know some people tuned in saying, what? Tom doesn't like Fluxx, this is gonna be good. And you're right, I'm normally not a big fan of the game of Fluxx. In fact, I highly dislike it. However, I'm gonna just tell you right up front that I like Math Fluxx for one very specific reason, and that's the first word, math. Now some people will be like, Fluxx plus math? What a horrible combination. No, it's actually a good combination. Let's take a look at the game. As with any Fluxx game, you're going to start with the basic rules. There's also Plan B, Plan C. We'll talk about them later. In the basic rules, you're going to have a deck of cards, and the basic rules say shuffle the deck, deal 3 cards each player. Someone goes first, then you keep this card on the table. So the basic rules are on your turn, you draw a card from the deck, and then you play a card from your hand. And this will continue on. However, as the game goes by, you can play cards that will change the rules of the game. So for example, maybe you will play this rule, a new rule. There's a hand limit of 4 cards in the game. If someone else plays maybe another rule that says hand limit of 2, that would replace the hand limit of 4. So some rules will place each other. Maybe instead of drawing 1, you now draw 3 cards when you play them. Now maybe instead of playing 1, I play this card here that says play 4 cards per turn. Or maybe play all the cards but 1. Again, many of these rules will replace other rules that you have. But there are different cards here where you can multiply to win the game, or you can add to win the game. There's just different rules that will come in effect. Now, to win the game, you need to meet a goal. At the beginning of the game, there's no goal in play. But as soon as someone plays one, this is the goal of the game. The goal of the game here is to get 8 and 8. Or maybe here, the goal of the game is to have 12. Or here, the goal of the game is to have the lowest numbers on the table, as long as everybody else has at least 2 cards. Or here, 1 number and 3 zeros. Or here, a 1 and a 7. So some people can change the goal. How do they get to these goals? Well, you can also play what's called a keeper card. A keeper card would go in front of you. So I might play an 8 in front of me. Or I might play a 9 in front of me. And there's all sorts of numbers in here, including a 10. But most of them are single-digit numbers. Then there are action cards. These action cards, you just play them and do whatever it says. Draw 3, play 2 of them. Everyone pass a card. Everyone takes a keeper, switches a keeper, these cards, with somebody else. You will continue playing the game until somebody reaches the goal. So maybe this is a 7, and I have a 1 and 7 in front of me. On my turn, I win because I accomplished the goal. Now, I mentioned Plan B and Plan C. Plan B here says one of the new special victory new rules must always be in play. Combo victory, plus victory, or times victory. For example, this must always be in play, where you can also win by adding the numbers together to get the final thing, rather than just having them. Instead of 17, here I could win by having an 8 and a 9 to get 17, or times victory. Plan C is more interesting to me. Plan C, you cannot win the normal way. Instead, you always have these 2 rules in effect. First, you have the grafting rule, which lets you put 2 numbers together to form a double-digit number. And then secondly, you can only win by using any combination of addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division to get to the goal number. So the goal number might be 88, and I got 98. I can put these together. 98 minus 3 is 95, but I need to get lower than that. So I need to get a 7, or 95 minus 10 is 85, and now if I get a plus 3, and oh wait, I don't need this anymore. Does 98 minus 10 88? So something like that. And you're going to be using your keepers and math to get this. Either way, whether you play with the basic rules or that's basically how you play. The first person to get to the goal is the winner. Now, I will only play this game with Plan C. Basic Fluxx is, I know a lot of people like it, right? You take the cards, you change the rules, you get the goals, but it's just lucky, right? And the game could take 5 minutes, it could take an hour. But when you play with Plan C, which I should mention here, that I played an initial version of Math Fluxx where some of these rules came into play with the different mathematical numbers, and I said, man, I wish there was a way that it always was formulas. And so they added Plan C, and they told me I had given them the idea. So take that as you will. But I really like that. I love the idea of saying, oh, I got an 8, a 7, and a 3. How can I multiply and subtract those numbers to get to that goal? I can't. But if I use this 2, and just the ideas, I love that kind of math, right? That then adding a little bit of chaos and rules being changed and drawing up the cards, suddenly that becomes more fun because I'm trying to do this thinky math thing, but there's also a little bit of chaos going around. Well, a lot of bit of chaos. So without Plan C, the game is okay at best. But with Plan C, I really like it. I really like trying to draw the right numbers. There's still a lot of luck in the game, but putting them down, working with kids and saying, how do you get to 22 with 2 7s and a 3? You know, you got to figure that sort of thing out, and it works really well. So math is something, I was a high school math teacher for many years. I think math's really important. I like the fact that many of the games that I enjoy here are chock full of math, some more hidden than others. This is here on the onset. I bet a lot of people are going to go, Math Fluxx, you know, this is not something I'm really interested in, but you should be. A lot of fun. Best of the Fluxxes, of the Fluxxi. Not sure how to say that. Math Fluxx. Dice Tower Judgment approved.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at Dicetowernetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Shut the door.